I had to turn my air conditioning off, Jimbo.
I already did.
It's gonna get a little hot in here.
It's a little steamy.
I gotta tell you, this building has got the heat. It's working really well.
60 degrees outside.
And I gotta tell you, it's 110 in here. I gotta tell you. Loving this. Loving the intro, Jimbo.
Takes a little while.
Too long?
To me, yeah.
All right. Live from the Food Buy Studios in New York City, it's the Hospitality Hangout podcast with the restaurant guy and the finance guy. Food Buy, your partner in procurement.
Steiny's fired up today. Oh, sorry, Schatzy's fired up. I want to welcome you.
Steiny?
He's on
my
my mind.
Freudian slip. We saw him at dinner.
I saw him at dinner.
It's you and Steiny.
I want to welcome you more formally for the Hospitality Hangout, a hospitality-focused podcast where the founders at Brandon Hospitality Group share their insights and bring technology and innovation and amazing brand leaders that are making things happen in the industry we love. My name is Jimmy Frischling, otherwise known as the finance guy, and I'll throw it back to my boy Schatzy, not to be confused with Steiny.
Yeah.
Mr. Schatzberg, also known as the restaurant guy.
I mean, I don't know. Was it good or bad? I mean, I saw Steiny on Friday. Was it Friday or
Thursday?
Thursday night. And Jimmy, you call me Steiny now.
Yeah. This segment's sponsored by Morgan Stanley.
Yeah,
where Steiny works.
Steiny, I gotta tell you. Well, listen, thank you for that kind of intro, and to all those listening, feel free to call me Shatsy, and we are the personalities behind Branded Hospitality. We are at the intersection, Jimbo, of food, of restaurants, hospitality, technology, investment, and I gotta tell you, really great Italian restaurants from Europe. And fabulous technology from Europe, too. That's where we're the intersection of.
That's the intersection. There's a lot of intersection.
We are. But you know what, Jim? But before I jump into it, I just want to talk about something that's been on my mind.
Please share.
And I got to tell you, we had a great guest, by the way. And I think
In studio. Right here.
And I think this guest will appreciate what I'm about to say. It's hard to run a restaurant with no food, Jimbo, isn't it?
It's very hard.
And food purchasing, you would have to say, would be the most important part of operating a restaurant. With no food, you got nothing.
It's hard to run a restaurant without food. You're
Right.
100% right.
I mean, if you just have booze, it's a bar.
Yes.
So a restaurant, you need food.
And without customers, you're closed.
Well, yes, 100%. But I got to tell you, you know what I stumbled upon? A phenomenal company. And you know what they're doing? They're helping you not just buy food, but save you money when you're buying it, Jimbo. You know what I go to? I go to foodbuy.com. Foodbuy.com. www.foodbuy.com. You know what I get there, Jimbo?
What's that?
I have a free membership, okay? A free membership.
Good
okay?
price. I like that price.
To saving money on everything I buy. I don't change anything. I don't change my vendor. I don't change what I'm buying. I just sign up at foodbuy.com, and you know how much money I can save? Like 40%. Could you imagine buying chicken at 40% less? Could you imagine that, Jimmy?
I can't even imagine.
What would Barbara say if you came home and said, Barbara, I'm saving 40% on chicken? You'd be eating a lot of chicken.
I'd be eating a lot of chicken.
Well, they buy $32 billion worth of food every year, Jimmy. So let me tell you, they're buying in scale. So you know what they're doing? They're saving money. So let me tell you something. Go to foodbuy.com, check it out, www.foodbuy.com, and save some money right now. Jumbo, we got a great guest. Let's talk about it, huh?
Yes, we do have a great guest, and we are privileged that our friend is here in studio with us. We don't always get that.
We don't.
So I'm very excited.
I think was the last one we had.
Yes, joining us in studio, our friend, Mr. Victor Lugger, the co-founder of Big Mama Restaurant Group, and
Victor Lugger.
You can go with that. I'm going to go with Luger.
Oh,
okay.
Like Peter Luger.
Like Peter Luger.
It's Victor Lugger.
Co-founder and CEO of Sunday, a great tech company we're going to talk about.
Yeah, it is great.
And for those of you who are not familiar with Big Mama, they are a European-based restaurant group, 27 Italian, Mediterranean restaurants, over 6 countries, employs over 3,000 people.
Yeah.
And I think they've had some interesting...
I was at Big Mom in Paris with Jillian.
How was that?
I got to tell you, we had a great time. I went to the one, I mean, I don't want to bring Victor in yet because we'll spoil it, but Cardi B was like, she was there, not when I was there, but like when you walked in, it like Cardi B was like on the floor or something like that. Like it said Cardi B was here or something like that, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? We sat at the bar. We had a great time, and actually, I used Sunday to pay. It was great. It was a seamless, fabulous event.
Basically, that was your Victor night. You went to his
didn't know
restaurant,
Victor at the
right?
time.
But you went to his restaurant.
I emailed you. Email me back.
Used his tech company to pay.
I didn't email you.
Okay, and now here he is in studio. I think this is all. That was your meet cute moment.
It's very serendipitous. I went there. We had a blast. I don't remember where that was, but it was Big Mama in Paris. I know there's a few, but it was the one that Cardi B is on the floor. Anyway, it was unbelievable.
All right, listen. You know, Victor's getting a first-hand view of
how annoying we are.
Well, we bring guests not just sometimes on the podcast, in this case, in the studio, and that we just keep talking as though he's not here.
Man, we actually just talked to him, and we didn't even let him speak.
Right.
I'm looking at him. I'm looking at Victor.
We'll talk about him. We'll talk about his success.
I gotta taste gorgeous, by the way. Wait till our guests see this gorgeous.
But so before we bring Victor in,
yes.
Okay, thank you for the patience. We release our podcast on Tuesdays. We play a little game called Trivia Tuesday. All of our listeners know how this is played. I'm gonna give you 3 factoids about our friend Victor. 2 of them are true, 1 is not true. Stick around to the end of the episode. We will have a reveal, not before Shatsy guesses, and then Victor will tell a story about these factoids. Fact 1, Big Mama was originally meant to be a French breakfast cafe. I can see that.
Yeah,
Big Mama, French.
Who's going to argue with that?
Okay, fact 2.
From France.
Fact 2, a Christmas card that Victor received was the inspiration behind starting Sunday. Christmas card.
That sounds ridiculous. It's a payment app.
By the way, that sounds so ridiculous. I think that's true.
Yeah,
okay, and fact 3, Victor won the only boxing match he's ever attended.
I can see that.
Only a boxing match he ever attended. He's the winner.
Yeah, he attempted, you mean? The only boxing match he's ever attempted. He boxed once in his life,
and he
won. I can see
He's
that.
1-0.
He's very tall.
He is undefeated. Okay, so remember, stick around to the end of the episode.
He boxed a little person.
By the way,
If you say midget, you can't say that.
You can't say that anymore.
You can say little person.
I think you can say little person.
And what's a tall person?
Tall person.
Just a tall person.
Yes.
So tall people never had.
Not a derogatory, politically
Why is
correct.
midget derogatory? It's derogatory.
You have to check with the
midget people.
With the verbiage police. Okay.
Right.
So now we're ready to bring Victor in, right?
Wait, no, not yet.
No, we're not.
Not yet. No. Because you know why, Jimmy? Because a lot of people are always asking our guests is how do you become the CEO of a multinational, 30 restaurant group in Europe that like famous people go to and they're always packed.
How do you do that?
And start a technology company and raise hundreds of millions of dollars and it's technology for restaurants, payments all over the globe. How do you do that? Well, I'm going to tell you how.
Okay.
Because it's not just, you don't just wake up in the morning, Jimmy, and just, I don't know my... No, you got to do things first.
Okay,
so
what do you
I
do?
lay out, well, first of all, you got to go to, you got to be from Paris. So if you're not from Paris, you got no shot. Are you from Paris, Jimmy?
I'm not from Paris.
You're the Upper East
I
Side.
worked for Societe Generale, though.
Well, that's
French
you
bank.
know what? I'm going to check that box, Jimmy. I'm going to check that box. So you got to attend HEC Paris and get a Master of Science. I'm not sure what HEC stands for, but I understand that it's like a Harvard in Paris. Okay, and then you get a job in working in hospitality at European Fair, which he actually had to pay them to work there. Which is kind of, that's wacky. So that's the French for you.
Experience is valuable.
That's the French for you, It's always a little weird over there, the way they do things, Okay, and he was the CEO of a music label, so you got to get involved in the music business a little bit, right? Then he went and he started an incubator, okay? And then he was the deputy CEO of my major company. And then he was a teacher in Paris, okay? So you got to be a teacher. And then he went back to restaurants. You know why? Because he didn't have any other thing to do. He didn't know what else to do. He's like, you know what? That's the best idea I got. And when he's back in restaurants, that's when he said, aha, Big Mama, I'm going to open a restaurant. Because he went to restaurants and he looked around. He's like, you know what? They all stink. I know how to do better. He said, these French restaurants, they got nothing. They don't know what they're doing. The French know nothing about food. And I, Victor Lugger, will create a concept so fabulous that even the French will be envious. And sure enough, he did in 2013. And then just a few years later, he had like 30 restaurants. He sells for hundreds of millions of dollars. And then you know what he does? He starts an app called Sunday for payments. And he raised hundreds of millions of dollars. And let me tell you, let's bring him in. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Victor Lugger, CEO, chairman of the board of not one company, but many, many companies. How much did we get right? What did we get right? Talk to me, Victor. Tell us about the career path. Here, it's great to have you.
I'm not sure if I'm more excited or intimidated to be in this studio.
Yeah, no. Most people get offended and never come back.
For future guests, if you can do it remote, do it remote.
Yeah, that is very wise advice. Very wise advice, I got to tell you. Let's talk about it, man. So, I mean, Big Mama, it is one of the largest restaurant groups and most Instagram in the entire world, right?
Well, it's not the dig contest, but it started with one actually, and then two, and then three. And right now, as we're contemplating opening in the US in 18 months, we're thinking, oh, if we come to the US, maybe one day we'll have 30 in the US. But before you have 30, you have to have one.
Takes
and it has to work. And
I
then
love
two, and then three.
Yeah, no, you got to start with one. Even McDonald's started with just one.
Absolutely, and try to make it work. So yes, we started with one 12 years ago. You're absolutely right, because eventually we didn't have a better idea. And then we said, well, let's have a chain of crepe restaurant.
Oh, that's interesting.
And
That's an
after
interesting
a
idea.
month and a half working on that idea concept, because it was very conceptual at the time, we realized, oh God, it's so boring. Like once you've mastered the egg, the cheese, and the ham on a crepe, you've pretty much done it all.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a very bad business. Why? Because you have great margins, but very little top line. How often do you go and eat a crepe, Schatzi?
I gotta be honest with you, I don't even know the last time. It's,
See?
Also, I find people tend not to drink. Alcohol sales, I think, maybe I'm wrong, maybe
No,
in Paris.
you're absolutely right.
Right. When you think, eggs and cheese and crepes, I'm not thinking,
I thought it was crabs.
crepes.
I thought he said crabs. Are you sure?
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I'm just kidding.
I'm sure.
And so after 6 weeks on crepes, we're like, okay, we're not doing this. It seems hospitality is going to be a pretty hard job, so we need to find something that we're sort of passionate about. But it took us 5 seconds to decide we're going into Italian food. And then over time, as we prepared for our first restaurant opening, we said, oh, if we have to copy-paste it every time, it's going to be a little boring.
Yeah.
Then you end up doing real estate and finance all the time. Whereas if you have a different restaurant, different design, different atmosphere every time, you get to do the fun part again and again, which is the creative part. So that's how
Jimmy's out of the finance world, so be careful what you say. He spent many years as a banker.
I was in finance for a long
Yeah,
time.
so it's John
By the
O'Reilly.
way, he's not insulting me. I like the
There's a
company.
little dig there. He said it's boring like finance.
Well, let's just say I'm having a better time, Shatsy, working with you and meeting wonderful people.
Jimmy,
like
anything you
Victor.
did with me would be a better time.
There you go.
I mean,
Having a
just
good time.
being with me is a good time,
Having a
right?
good time. Listen, I want two things. I want to jump in, but first I want to say, and you're going to correct me. We had a restaurant called Big Daddy's, and 3 diners in New York City. We know a little bit about the diner business, the eggs, and no drinking in diners. And I used to joke, though, and you've proved me wrong. I used to joke that there's no one I ever met that didn't like being called Big Daddy.
Everybody says they're Big Daddy.
Right. Everyone likes to be called Big Daddy. But my observation was that no one wanted to be called
Big Mama.
Big Mama. And I'm wrong, because this is a
No, I'm sorry, you're absolutely right.
I am right.
Oh.
We start this idea and we sort of raise money and prepare for it, and we call our company Big Mama. Big
Yes.
because it's very Anglo-Saxon
Yes.
in the service and the
Yes.
hospitality,
Yeah.
and Mama because it's super authentic Italian
Yes.
in the food and the sourcing. And then comes a year and a half later, the moment to actually open the first restaurant, and we're thinking, that's such a gimmicky marketing name. That's not going to fit. And so our group is called Big Mama. We
Yes.
have almost 30 restaurants. None of them is called Big Mama.
Okay, so I am right.
The one I went
Right.
in Paris, what was that one called?
Pink Mama, possibly.
Pink, see?
Ah,
Okay.
Pink Mama.
You know what? I'm so happy you cleared that up, because I was like, I don't think anyone wants to be called, respectfully, no one wants to be Big Mama. Big Daddy, sure. Big Mama, not so much. Okay. I love origin stories, and you've got one. You and your partner, 2 28-year-olds, okay, never opened a restaurant before. Yet one day you have a line of 150 people outside your store, and you attribute this immediate success because it took you 2 years to open
It
this
did.
first store. Can you take us back to that Saturday lunch, that original opening 12 years ago, and you have a line around the block?
Wait, so how old is Victor?
Well, I mean, you want me to do the math?
Yeah.
I'd say it's about 40.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good. That's excellent, man.
I
Jimbo.
kind of knew that one. Well, anyway, let's let Victor. So, Victor.
We have to go back 2 years before. 2 years before, we say we're going to do restaurants.
Yes.
And then I remember saying that to my girlfriend at the time, who now is my wife. And after 7 months, she's like, hey, are you not supposed to open a restaurant? And like, yeah, we haven't even signed a lease yet. And she's like, chop, chop. Chop, chop,
Let's
buddy.
go.
Yeah.
Let's bring it on.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be with a dude like who's staying at home.
Yes.
Like,
How are you going to pay to take around
Yes.
stuff? Yeah.
it took us another 5 months to raise our first money to be able to start the whole business.
Yes.
And then after 6 months that we had raised money, a year and a half into it,
To then open.
one of the guy who invested in us, great entrepreneur, says, "Hey, have you guys signed the lease?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, because none of them is perfect." And he was like, "Dude, wait here, pause. You find the best thing you have on your computer. So type lease in your mailbox and just the best one you have, you sign it
Just
now.
sign the lease there.
Done is better than perfect.
Yes.
And we ended up signing the first lease that we ever got sent 18 months before. We signed it. So it took 2.5 years for us to open our first restaurant. Trust me, there was a lot of expectations. You have
And is
the
that
time.
restaurant still there?
It is. It is.
And where
it's-
is that? Tell me, where is that?
It's in Paris near Bastille. It's in the 11th. It's called East Mama. And it's,
What street? I like when you say the street.
Rue du Faubourg Saint-Antoine.
Oh, God, did you hear that, Jimmy? What did he just say? I don't even know, but it sounds amazing. Oh, that was good. Oh, I gotta go.
And the second thing is, so we had a hoarding when we were doing the works on that street where a lot of people pass, and we put this sort of not dirty, but let's say racist pictures of us and the staff, etc. It was pretty not consensual, and I think a lot of people got sort of worked up,
excited.
like, "Hey, what is happening there?" And yes, the first lunch we had this huge queue, and I remember very well being inside the restaurant at 11:55. Me, never operated a restaurant. My business partner never operated a restaurant, and 25 Italians who had very little experience. But one guy who had worked like for 2 years in a restaurant, he said, "Hey, they're not gonna eat us. We're gonna eat them." The guy runs to the door, opens the door, gets in the street and say, "Ciao everybody, a tutti buongiorno, benvenuti da Big Mama." And I was like, "Oh my God, it's starting." And then they're starting to bring the people in, and then you don't have any time to think anymore, and we just get it
the
doing.
train left the station.
But if you go to any of our restaurants today, every day, lunch and dinner, they get out in the street. There is a queue usually, and they get out and they say, "Hey, buongiorno," which comes from that very day.
Wow.
Well, I gotta tell you, it makes sense because, I mean, like we were talking about earlier, I mean, your social media presence is unbelievable. I mean, you have it's almost a phenomena that you've created, and it was really all organic.
Yes. So a lot of people come and tell me, "Yes, but you guys are all about marketing." Because the outcome of whatever we do, we can talk about that, is that yes, we have a huge presence on social medias. So we are 2,700 people in the company. There is 3 people working across on marketing and communication. One of them is an intern. So no, we don't invest much. To be honest, I have never ever spent $1 on social media.
No.
But each of my plates cost $45, and I'm serving pasta for $12. We built for twice the money as anyone else in Europe. So we spend twice as much money in the build-out, in the fit-out. This is actually my marketing investment, if you like. But that's not the way we think of it. We think of it like, if you create a beautiful restaurant, if when you bring the plate on the table, the emotion you create is that, looks good, I want to eat it. Well, it happens that in 2024, people are going to take a picture on it and put it on social media. We don't do it for them to do that, but it's a collateral effect of making yummy food, nice plates, good crockery, nice uniforms from the waiters, and beautiful design.
I'm thinking about, like, now I'm mad that I didn't take a couple of plates. Like, I could have gotten like a set.
You took
Trust me,
enough
a lot of people.
No, I don't
You
want
took
a
enough.
picture.
You
No,
took
we can
enough.
do a picture. I
You
don't
took
want a
enough
picture.
silverware to like literally.
No, the plate's $45 a plate, Jimmy. That's like more than my China set. I'm going back there. And I'm going to take some plates. I'm going back there in
Yeah,
January.
they got camera shots.
That's okay.
All right.
I'll wear a disguise. Well, anyway, it is really interesting that you created this phenomenon on social media with not spending any money, having just, you said 2.5 people doing all the work, and you really put it into the design.
But we don't do the work. Our
Your
patrons, our
customers
guests
do the
it.
work. Yeah, 100%. I get it. I like it.
Turn them into influencers. All right. I want to talk about your recent partnership with our friends from McWin, and our friends, your partners. You took I understand they become an investor.
Yes, they did.
A meaningful investor in Big Mama Group. What intrigued me about the partnership was how it's enabling your expansion plans, and maybe this is going to be the catalyst and the capital to bring you to the United States, which would be super excited. Is this breaking news? Can you share more about how this relationship developed, and what does it mean for Big Mama's future?
So what happened is the following. Last year, we generated significant cash flow. not enough for us to grow as fast as we want.
Sure.
So in Europe, the way every restaurant group around the world has its own recipe on how you finance and structure your growth. In Europe, we're very lucky that we can get debt from the banks. For us to get the debt we wanted to get, banks would say, hey, if a pool of banks is going to lend you 60, 80, $100 million, we need you to have a significant anchor investor. If hits the fan, we need you to have an investor who can put in money and support if there is a problem. The problem is we grew Big Mama in the 12 first years only with sort of big angels, if you like. So we had 17 amazing entrepreneurs who had supported us, but all of them put little money. So what happened last year is we allowed them to exit, make money. That was very satisfying as an entrepreneur, and we replaced them with McQueen, who is an anchor big private equity fund in hospitality. And as McQueen just bought their shares, all of a sudden we had an anchor investor, and at the same day we refinanced the company and we got some debt. That was the whole point, so we could keep growing without dilution, because I see my next 20 years in Big Mama, and just if I can save my equity and keep growing, I'm happy. Where we got lucky is that I'm not sure, there are not that many private equity people who understand restaurants, who understand what it is to build a group, a brand that echoes over 20, 30, 40 years with quality and consistency. I mean, do I understand? It's only been 10 years, so I don't know. But there are not that many private equity people who do. And it happens, these guys are not they are private equity, but the founder started in restaurants in Poland in 1989. And 30 years later, he had almost 3,000 restaurants.
Yeah, it's like 3,000 Burger Kings, I think, right?
Yeah, but that's still restaurant. And if you want to get to 3,000 Burger Kings, you need to understand.
No, I'm saying, they know about restaurants.
And that's it. And so now we have the means to grow. And of course, America is on the radar. I mean, I can go through why only now is America on the radar, because it's far and it takes us founders to be on the ground. Yeah. And during the first 10 years, we were very focused on executing in Europe. Only now do we have the bandwidth to sort of move here.
So let's talk about that. So you moved here when?
I moved here last summer.
Last summer to Atlanta.
Yes.
Why Atlanta?
Because I moved here because of Sunday, which is our second business, and Sunday is an American company based in Atlanta.
So are we going to talk right now about growing Big Mama in America? Is that why you moved here, or no, you moved here because of Sunday?
I moved here because of Sunday, because Sunday exploded in America over the last 24 months. And because Sunday exploded over the last 24 months, I thought, hey, I can run this company from Europe, but it will be better if I run it from America. And as we grew it, we had more and more clients here, restaurant groups. And these restaurant groups are the like of Lettuce, Boca, Hogsalt, blah, blah, blah. And all these people have amazing restaurants, and I became closer to their founders and to their teams, and I start to see with my eyes that these people were making great restaurants, having great fun doing it. And that, on the Big Mama front, made me think, well, America is different, America is far, but to be honest, it's not that different and it's not that far. And so maybe we could have a shot at it with Big Mama. So I called my business partner, Tigran, who's based in Madrid, and I said, hey, it's not that far and it's not that different. And boy, this is big. America's so big. Maybe we should try. And he said, well, let me sleep over it. And the next day he said, well, why not? Why don't I move with my whole family to America? And so he's moving next summer.
Wow.
So he's moving too.
I moved for Sunday, and he's moving next summer for Big Mama.
Wow, that is unbelievable.
The American dream.
It's exciting.
I love
it.
And is he going to move to Atlanta?
No, he's going to Miami.
I got to be honest with you. I'm just thinking, Atlanta and Miami, I feel like he got the better end. I feel like you should be in Miami and give him Atlanta.
I will challenge that heavily.
I'm with Victor. I challenge.
You New York people are so biased against it. I mean, everyone I've met in America is so biased.
I started off. I told you. Good city.
No. Jim, you're with me.
Great city. It is. It's a great city.
So are you moving to Miami? Or
if I lost my New York City privileges, Atlanta's on my list. It's on my list, respectfully, before Miami.
Before Miami?
Before Miami.
So you would leave New York City, it would be Atlanta first.
If I lost my New York City privileges.
If you lost.
If I lost, I can't leave New York.
Give me 1, 2, 3 in America.
1, 2, 3. Austin. And your third?
Scottsdale.
I was going to say, I think I'd move to Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Yeah.
Austin. And then Atlanta?
Yeah, those are my three.
And what was on your
Those are my three.
list?
Chicago,
Good city.
Austin, and
Atlanta.
Or Boulder, maybe.
There you go. Boulder's a good city, too. Anyway.
Let me tell you my problem with Boulder, okay? There's no ocean anywhere near Boulder, okay? God forbid you got to get the out of there. Hell, you get out of there. You're stuck. I got to be somewhere where you get into a boat, a kayak, something. Get the out of there fast. You're in Boulder. There's nothing.
There's a raft.
You're stuck. Where are you rafting to? Where you rafting to? Go ahead, Jimbo. All
right. I was going to say, where are we? Here we go. You mentioned to our producer, Julie, that you had a mentor who said something to you that was very profound, that you were the problem. It wasn't him, it was you. No, that you were the problem holding back business growth at Big Mama. And that's a tough thing, I think, for an entrepreneur to hear. However, I actually will admit I've heard it often that the person that's the right person to start something may not be the right person to take it to that next chapter, that next phase of growth. Mm-hmm. So can you tell us about the journey and how it's transformed your approach to leadership and scaling businesses? Leaving France for London, so talk about your journey.
So what you're mentioning is actually, we've thought a lot about, okay, what is it we've done that have allowed us to grow over 10 years to the size we are now, then to spin off Sunday, which is now a huge business on its own. And if we understand that, maybe we can sort of replicate it into the future and keep growing. And I've realized that the fact that Tigran and I, every time something was vaguely working, we would just go to the next stuff and enable our team to take what was our previous job and do it. And most of the time, if not always, they would do it way better. Why? Well, for many reasons. You can't be very good at so many things. Two, when you're the CEO and you do 10 things, then you give one of these 10 things to someone in your team, that person's going to do that and that only. That will get way better. Think about sourcing in Italy. Sourcing products in Italy was one of the funniest jobs in my early days at Big Mama. I would spend half the year in Italy touring producers. But that was just half of my job, and I was doing a lot of other stuff. And when Florent came in and started doing this full time, our sourcing became so much better. We had so much better products for half the price. I was like, oh, I was doing it because I thought it was good and I thought it was fun, but it's working way better now that he's doing it.
Were you using foodbuy.com to source all of your products?
They're not in France.
I mean, but I got to tell you, I think that they're Compass Group. Aren't they French-based? Aren't they? No, Compass Group. Are they Canadian, French-based?
They're big.
They're big. Are they French-based?
I don't know if they're French-based.
Sodexo's French-based.
Sodexo's French-based.
Yeah. Well,
and
they
so
got Integra.
What happened is when we signed the lease in London, I said, I'm moving there with my family. And so I moved to London. And the next minute, I was not in Paris anymore. And we had 6 restaurants at the time. And so all of a sudden, the team had to manage. And I often take this analogy that responsibility is not something that you can delegate.
Oh, wait,
people have to take it.
Why'd you move to London?
Because we've always felt that the story we wanted to write and the brand we wanted to build was an international one. Uh-huh. And so we said, let's get out of France as fast as possible. And London is closed. London is an amazing market. London is world-class competition, but it's also world-class clientele.
You got a bunch of stores in London.
Oh, yes. London's great.
Is London a better market than France for Big Mama?
London is the best market for us in Europe. Yes. Yes, there is a lot of Londoners. They're a really fun crowd. They love to go out. They have a lot of humor. They don't take themselves seriously, but they're very focused on the quality of hospitality. They recognize a good thing when they see it.
I think the Brits are the funniest people. What do you think? Because I think Monty Python, Ricky Gervais, I think the Brits are the funniest. They have the best sense of humor.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? I think that.
I totally agree with you.
Don't you think that the funny people
as Victor was talking about his moves, I was reminding of something a mentor told me. If you're not replaceable, you're not promotable. You gotta don't try to hoard things to keep your job. In fact, put yourself in a position to be replaced.
You want someone to take your job.
You want someone to take it so you can go take on the next challenge. Mm-hmm. And if Victor was the only person in the company that could do certain things, well, then he's capped.
That was a limiting factor.
It was a limiting factor for him and his company. So instead, he's out now expanding, growing, attacking new territories. The one with the funniest people in the world, according to Schatzy.
What you give me a country with funnier people?
Look, right now, I'll put America up there. I think we're good.
And Canada too, right?
I think Canada's pretty funny. I think Australia's pretty funny.
Yeah,
That's about it.
But
Look how boring.
Australia, they're
You know
kind of
what's
like,
the
they're like
smartest-
British people.
You know what the smartest thing I've heard about American people?
What?
From a British friend married with an American woman. He
What?
said, people in Europe, they say America is this, America is that. They don't get it. America is everything,
Yes.
but bigger. And he goes on, when they're fun, they're more fun. When they're stupid, they're more stupid, etc.
Actually, I love that. We're all those things, just bigger.
We're bigger and more.
Bigger.
I like it.
You dumb, you big dumb.
I like it.
All right, listen. Now, this to me was amazing. Like we wear a lot of hats here. We have our investment arm, we have capital markets, we have our media arm. You build this incredible restaurant group, and then you're like, okay, I want to now build a tech company.
That's absolutely not the way it happens.
Okay, so then you got to tell us, most restaurateurs we know, if they encounter a problem, they're going to find a solution. And you and your company, now you'll tell us how it happened, you went out and built a solution. So tell us about the payment problem that you didn't just solve, you and your company, your partners, for your own business, but you're really solving a real pain point for the industry. And I will say, just Schatzy and I talk about operator-centric. It's not what the operators want. They will allocate time and money to what they need. And that's what Sunday's done. You're focusing on what's
Jimmy,
needed.
do you have a towel in here?
Yes.
I see. I think I see sweat. I see eye sweat.
It is a little warm.
We're gonna pick that right up on the camera.
The lights.
Yeah. Do you see that? He sweats.
Well,
Yeah, he's giving it all.
I'm giving it all.
You should follow his
giving it
example.
all.
You got under eye sweat there. I see it.
All right. I'll take it over. Anyway.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Well, while I'm
Where
waiting,
were we?
we were talking about Sunday.
You're absolutely right.
Let's talk about Sunday.
Think about the life before Uber.
Yep.
Did you, when you were hailing cabs, you remember that time?
Sure.
You were probably 12, but still.
Yes. No.
You were hailing a cab, and did you ever think that this was, it's such a pain in the ass to be hailing cabs? No, you
I
never.
thought it was brilliant that you could even hail a cab. Because I got to tell you something. So going back to Europe, you got to find a cab area. In New York, you can just hail a cab anywhere you want, right?
Yeah. And when sometimes they're not there because on a Saturday night they're all full and it's raining on your head, etc.
That's why they have Uber.
Yet you never challenged that.
Yes.
And one day the Uber guys came and said, "Hey, it can actually be way better." And that's what I thought when I saw that we were to have QR codes on the table after COVID. I was like, "These QR codes look like." But then I thought, what if we could solve this problem payment? Because we never challenged the fact that there is a problem with payment. But the second I want my bill, pardon my French, I want to be the out of here.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than
And then it's still going to take 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes, and we're going to put all our credit cards on the table, and then we're going to have to figure out the splitting and all this pain. And all of a sudden I thought, that's something we've never challenged, but it's such bad hospitality. And we thought, why don't we just allow people to pay with this QR code we need to put on the table? So we built this technology for us. I was a restaurateur thinking about my guests and trying to be more hospitable.
More hospitable.
And we just did this along with another 20 stupid ideas we had during COVID, except this one really picked up. And 70% of our guests were paying with it after 3 months. It was like 70% of people use it.
it was like a Rocky moment.
It was exactly that.
It was, right?
The truth is, after 3 months after we reopened restaurants, I get this report from my CFO about, hey, our payments are now processed 70% through the QR codes, 25% with credit cards, and 5% cash. And I answered the email. I still have this email today saying, just check out your figures because this is wrong. Of course, not 70% are paying with this. And he comes back to me and says, check it. It's true. What?
70%.
Yeah. That was the aha moment.
That was the aha moment. And then we said, it's so. So I called a few friends, restaurateur friends. We have a few in the US, in Europe, say, would you do that? And they all say, paying at the restaurants, it's such pain. So from a guest perspective, I would do that 3 times a day.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, you want to try it? They said yes. And then when we saw that it was working in other places exactly the same as it was working with us, we said, we should spin this off. And this was the start of it. But it started with trying to just create better hospitality.
How'd you come up with the name Sunday? Like, why not Tuesday? Friday?
Someone had that already.
Oh.
The rationale was you're saving time for what matters.
Yes.
If I know I can pay in 5 seconds, I'm going to enjoy my lunch or my dinner to the last minute and then pay and leave the out.
I love it.
And so it was save time for what matters, which is what you do on Sunday.
Yes.
But to be very brutally honest, when you're trying to find a B2C brand that's available across the world, when you find one, you just take it.
Right. So it was really you were able to get it, huh? I like it. I like the name Sunday.
I like it too.
And it's Sunday. What's Sunday.app? Is that the URL? What's the URL?
Sundayapp.com.
Sundayapp.com.
Yeah.
I like it. So tell us about the future of Sunday. Now, you moved back here. I mean, this must be incredibly important to you if you would move your whole family from Europe. The greatest country, London, where funny people, or England, I should say, where all the funny people are.
I live in the same street as Ricky Gervais. Can you believe that?
I mean, to leave
I'm
the
at
street
the
with Ricky...
epicenter of humor.
I mean, there's the funniest guy with the funniest street and the funniest land to come to still very funny. I mean, Jimmy thinks we're very funny.
Yeah, we're a little funny.
Yeah.
But we're funny to laugh at. Ricky's funny to laugh with.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Yeah. So tell us, talk to us the whole Sunday.
Think about Open Table when they started in 2020. Everyone would make bookings through the phone. And you had so many chefs or great restaurateurs saying, hey, we're never going to do online reservation. We are about hospitality. We need a voice.
Open Table. They're like 20, 25 years old.
Yes.
Yeah, they started
that
in
kind of moment.
Oh, I thought you said 2020.
No, he was saying this is Sunday. This is the moment where payments are about to be changed.
Oh.
And so 25 years ago, when Open Table came, a lot of people say, hey, we're not doing this because we're about hospitality.
Calling on the telephone.
I need a voice over the table. We're about people in hospitality. Only a few years later, they all realized that it was actually more hospitable to allow you to make a reservation online in 5 seconds. Well, Sunday was 3 years into it. And already half of the greatest brands in this country have realized that it was better hospitality to use my staff, my waiters, to serve you and take care of you rather than just carrying credit cards and papers. So yes, it's a deep, major revolution in the hospitality segment.
I like it. I like it a lot. All right, listen, we're gonna jump into it. We got to take a quick break, Jimbo.
Quick break.
And we're gonna dig more into it. Okay, so don't go anywhere because we're back with a little hot or not in just a minute and talk to a little bit more of Victor Lugger.
Watch how quick this break is.
Victor Lugger. All right, we are back. We are back with Victor Lugger, and here we go. Are you ready for a little hot or not with Victor Lugger?
Let's go.
All right. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to say a term, and you say hot or not. Okay?
Do I say or not or just not?
You could just say hot, and you could just say pause, and you could say not. Hot or not. They don't have to say anything. All right.
You can say very hot.
You can say very hot. Social media influencers. Hot or not?
Not.
Espresso martinis. Are they hot or not?
Not.
3D printed custom pasta. Is that hot?
3 what?
3D pasta.
Oh, come on, not.
Not. QR code ordering. Is that hot or not?
Not.
Jimbo, care to opine?
Yeah,
I mean, espresso martinis. You know, our holiday party tomorrow, we got espresso martinis there.
we got a lot going on in the holiday party.
You don't order with a QR code. Ordering is something you do with your waiter. They give you, they tell you about the menu, etc.
Yeah.
You want to pay with your QR code, but
let's
not
go.
order.
So by the way, they chose 4 topics for you. Not often that 4 topics go not.
Everything was cold. I don't know what Julie was thinking
All right,
about
it's
on
okay.
this. All
Well,
right.
let's play off
Let's
that.
jump into
Let's
it.
dig into the QR codes because I think you jumped on
After
that.
COVID, there is
Yes.
so much misconception.
Yes.
Oh, QR code has to be for ordering.
Yes.
No, I
No.
want I'm a restaurateur. I
Yes.
serve hospitality.
Yes.
I need my waiters to be taking your order, explain to you the menu, where the mozzarella come from, etc.
Yes.
And give you an advice on
I
not
agree.
taking that espresso martini, but actually taking that other cocktail, which
Yes.
is so much more fun. But when I want to pay, when as a guest was the last time that you had a deep, significant, meaningful interaction with your waiter while you pay? Never, ever. So pay with your QR code and make sure your waiter has time and energy and focus to take your order.
And actually, if you shift the payment, and to a certain extent, that payment you could do everything right as a restaurateur. You could greet your guests, you could seat, you could welcome, you could do everything right. But if that guest wants to leave,
They're doing one of these.
and you're not paying attention, and the server's slammed, and just give me a second, you've ruined the experience. So your point is leverage tech for that to bail that
the end. It's the last thing.
And they don't want it. There's no hospital. Actually, the hospitality is getting them out. Let them go.
Exactly. And by the way, just ordering on QR code, if you're a QSR, right now you're ordering on a tablet, on a kiosk.
Kiosk.
Doing that on your phone is going to be way better. In 5 years' time,
Yes.
kiosks are dead, QR code on your phone has
Yes.
replaced them. But this is QSR, it's different.
Yes.
I agree. Yeah, 100%. So, Jimmy, that's it. You have nothing else to opine? It's such a light opining. All right, we're gonna jump right into one of my favorite segments of all time.
Oh.
There it is. You know what this is? It's the Feud. It's the family.
It's the food service.
It's the food service Feud. I think this is the extended 12-inch DJ version.
Try not to use all 12 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. This is really... Anyway, we're on the food service Feud, okay? Victor and Jimmy, you're going to go head-to-head. Here's how it works. We've surveyed over 100 trillion people.
100 people.
A lot of people.
100.
Like a billion people.
100 people.
Mostly from Europe. Mostly from Europe, okay?
Mostly from downstairs.
And I have the top 5 answers on the board. On the board, okay? Are you ready? I am going to ask a question. I will give you the answers, and then you tell me what the top answer is on the board. And I got to tell you, whoever wins this, by the way, fabulous fry. I don't know what this Family Feud is.
You do it about the music?
Yeah, the music.
That's okay. Well, you're confusing me because you're going to give us the answers. We have to pick which ones with the number one answer.
Oh, I don't do that one?
Well, I thought the way we play the games, you give us a topic and we beep in it.
Oh, okay. All right.
No,
we'll do it your way.
It's your game.
You beep it. You got your buzzer over there? Yeah. Jimmy, you got your buzzer?
All
right.
At the table.
Here we go.
Everyone for the record, I don't understand about what's happening here.
All right. Shatsy's going to ask us a question. And if you think you know the answer,
you buzz in.
You buzz in.
And you
hope
you know the
If I would say in 100 kindergartners, young kids asked your top favorite
favorite tequila.
Favorite color.
Favorite tequila.
And you might tap it and say blue.
Okay.
That's it. Now the question's going to be different.
Okay. We asked 100 kindergartners.
100 kindergartners.
Their favorite color.
Blue.
Yes! Top answer on the board. Big winner, Jimmy. You lost.
We move on.
All right, here we go. Let's play the few. You got it, though. You got it. All right. Name something European servers find surprising about American diners. Something European servers find surprising about American diners. Do you want me to give you some
answers? Give us answers.
Okay.
We'll write.
Okay.
Give us some answers.
I will give you some
answers.
Tell me. You tell me.
By the way, I want to guess one. We try to speak in their language. We try to order in their language, and we're not good at speaking the language. I tell you, why don't you?
I don't see that.
Why don't you give us the answers?
Okay. Is it asking for a check before finishing a meal? Is it modifying or substituting everything on the menu? Is it always asking for ice in their drinks?
Oh.
Eating dinner so early before 8 p.m.? Is it taking or is that 20? Is that 20?
It's 4 of the above.
Or is it taking leftovers home in a doggy bag? What is the most annoying or surprising thing that Europeans find about American diners?
All of the above.
All of the above.
But it's not annoying, but it's unsettling.
All of them. But what is the number one?
I'm going to ding in.
What? Ding?
Modifiers. Modifying the meal.
Ding, ding, ding. Modifying is
That's
the number one.
insulting.
There's nobody modifies anything in Europe. I mean, I was just in Italy. Nobody modifies anything.
No,
Nobody
but
has
so in Italy, you
nobody
don't
asks
even
about
modify.
gluten.
They can't spell modify in Italy. We have restaurants in Italy, and no, we don't. I mean, no one asks for that. In France, it's a little more. Then in the UK, when we came to London, we were like, boom, hit on by the train on standards. English people, they're way more Anglo-Saxon, and so we had to adjust way more, and so there is more modifiers and every. And you can't say normal milk; you have to say dairy milk because if not, it's insulting. And we learned all this thing when we went from France to the UK, and we're going to learn more as we go from the UK to America.
You got to have 14 milks. Every type of milk, every vegetable and every legume has a milk. There's almond milk, right? There's avocado milk. There's milk from everything.
There's a whole fight about whether they can even say milk. Like,
milk.
It's not milk. It's
Jens, if I can pause you here, I don't want to.
And wait a minute, how about
we have
food
milk in Europe as well? Huh?
And how about food allergies? In America, the first thing the server says, "Oh, hi, I'm your server today. I'm Shatsy." And are there food allergies I should be made aware of? It's not nearly as big.
No, it's not in France.
And it's for the Americans that we even bring it up.
No. It's actually, I think it's a good question to ask. In the UK, it's standard practice. In France, we're still at the very beginning of this.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that.
And I was just in Italy, by the way. No one has a gluten problem in Italy. In this
By the way, I
country,
have to say, Shatsy, the way you played the game was the right way. Those were great. Because you got to then give out all the answers.
Was that the right way to do it?
It was the right way. You were right.
I was?
And I was wrong. That'll
So they are all annoying, but the most annoying is modifying.
I thought they're all annoying, and I like Victor's answer, all the above. Okay, let's
Taking home food in a doggy bag. That's
just so we're clear, the average tickets in our restaurants in France is I would know $20, $25 for $30 maybe for the food we cook.
Yes.
In America, it's going to be 60, at least twice as much.
Yes.
Plus 20% tips.
Yes.
So just take a step back. Maybe American patrons are more demanding on allergies and on my doggy bag, etc., etc. They spend twice and a half the money.
Why is that?
Just because you guys are so rich. I mean, America is so rich compared to Europe. I've had no tried to go to
rich,
Europe.
we can afford to pay more.
By the way, look at that. 2 Americans and a Frenchman. And the Frenchman sticking up for the American guests, saying, you know what? Maybe
He
you gotta...
just moved here. He's trying to make friends, Jimmy. The last thing he needs to go back to Atlanta. And everybody say, I heard you. And I got to tell you, I take a face. And his partner's moving here. They need to make friends, Jimmy.
All right. Listen, at the top of the show, we played our 2 truths and a lie. Here are the 3 factoids about our friend Victor. Shatsy's been thinking about it, and we're gonna finish up this game. Fact 1: Big Mama was originally meant to be a French breakfast cafe. I think we now know that's true.
Yeah, I think we spoke.
That's okay. All right, we know that's true. All right, fact 2: Christmas card Victor received was the inspiration behind starting Sunday. Fact 3: Victor won the only boxing match he's ever attempted. He didn't reveal 2 or 3 yet, so here we go. Shatsy, what says you?
I think that a Christmas card was not the inspiration for at least. Well, yeah, Sunday. No, that makes no sense.
Okay, now let's find out. But you do feel he attempted one, but he won his one and only boxing.
Yeah, I think somebody said, because he's a Frenchman, and somebody challenged him, and you can't box. Don't tell me I can't box. I'll box you right now. I'll kick your in 1 second. And he boxes him, 100%.
All right. What says?
I'm not gonna tell a Frenchman you can't box.
What says Victor?
The Christmas card is a true story.
It's a true story.
We're like, okay, we're spinning off Sunday, and we're making it its own company. And at the same time, in Europe, I received a Christmas card from Christine, very good friend. She was based in Europe, and then I received this Christmas card, and she's in America with her husband and kids on the picture. And I'm like, why is it in America? Oh, because I just moved back. She's American. I just moved back to America. So you're not in your, leading your big tech company in Europe anymore? No, I resigned because I wanted to come back to America, where I come from, and I wanted my kids to experience America. It's like, hey, so you want to do Sunday with us? And so we'll not just do it in Europe, but also do it in America.
Okay.
And she was like, game on.
That was a trick question. It didn't inspire the name. It didn't inspire the app, the whole payment.
I'm going to say...
Shatsy, you lost.
Yeah. By the way, thank you, Victor.
Take it on the chin and move on. It's okay.
Yes. Take a look.
I'm stealing 6 plates when I go back.
Okay.
That's it. By the way, I'm going to London next week.
Are you?
Yeah, and I'm stealing. I can't tell you how many plates I'm going to put. I'm going to buy a suitcase in London.
By the way, here's my new mantra: take it like a woman, take your loss.
No, I'm
buying
a suitcase. What are we buying? Clothes? No, going into Big Mama and loading it up with a set of dishes.
My new thing is I think women are tougher. That's why I'm going. Take it like a woman. Take it like a woman.
All right,
and get back in the game.
Oh,
knew it on it.
But 4.6, that's low.
It's pretty low. But
That's
no,
not
could be
good.
in the
Yeah, but it's
Final
mostly built in Europe.
What does that mean? You can't use it a lot there?
No.
There you go.
Dude, Victor is like totally loving this.
By the way, I'm breaking up my Luke Combs mojo now. I'm a Luke Combs fan.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I
Can you
love it.
picture this in my pickup truck?
Yes.
Did you get a Ford F-150?
That was the dream. I did
You
it
don't
with
have
a
that yet?
BMW. That's how sad my life is.
Yeah, you have got to get a. If you're gonna live down in Atlanta and really be an American, you gotta get a Ford F-150.
I do.
There you go.
Diesel,
By the way,
maybe diesel. I'm not sure.
I don't know if I think that was redundant. The Ford F-150. I don't think they call it that. I think
What
it's
is it?
F-150.
Just F.
F-150.
Oh, because you have a pickup.
They don't call it the Ford.
You've never even looked at a pickup truck.
That's true.
Look at his shirt, of course he has a
I
pickup
drive.
truck.
I drive a.
Jimmy's got a Volvo. Okay, please.
Very safe. Very safe.
Consumer Report says
Reports.
Volvo is the number one most
Yes.
safest car.
Yes, very safe car.
You're Jimmy, 100%.
Child on board. Okay,
You know
Victor.
why? Because the guy who drives Volvo really drives slow.
That's right.
That's the bias.
Well, the good thing about Jimmy, he doesn't drive.
I don't even drive.
Barbara
my wife
does all the
drives.
driving.
Yes, my wife drives.
Jimmy's got the headphones on the side on phone calls. He's got like the airplane thing on. Yeah. He has 2 conference calls going.
My wife's a better driver. My
Yeah.
daughter had a funny argument. They were talking to another kid in class about the daddy seat and the mommy seat. And the kid's saying, no, the daddy seat's the driver's seat, the mommy seat's the passenger seat. And Sylvie goes, she's 8. She goes, no, the driver's seat's the mommy seat, the passenger seat's the daddy's seat. And I said to the 2 kids, you're both right. In your family, the daddy's the
Poor
driver.
Sylvie's getting in fights
Sylvie's
in
getting
school
advice.
too.
She's saying mommy seat's the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And Sylvie, in our family, that's exactly right.
I mean, I don't want to say anything, but this is really weird. I mean, poor Sylvie's going to school and telling everyone that mommy drives.
Mommy
I'm like,
drives.
Yeah, why is it that only in this is it that way in Europe? In Europe, like the men in this country, the men basically drive. Right? You get in a car with the family, the man always drives.
Not in this person.
You're the only one.
I'm the only one?
No, my wife drives.
That's what I'm saying. So is that like
Maybe it's you, Shatsy. Maybe it's you and Tilly. Maybe it's you.
Take a step back.
By the way-
Question a few stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. By the way, if I show you Jillian driving, okay, here. Like this. I mean, you don't want to go in the car with Jillian driving. Yeah, I got to tell you. Yeah,
All
this
right.
is great.
We covered a lot of topics. This was a lot of fun. Victor, we thank you so much, not just for coming on the podcast, but doing it in person. We have the most fun when our guests show in the studio. For any future guests, we like having guests in the studio. But thank you for sharing these insights and what a journey you're on with Big Mama Restaurant Group and now with Sunday. And thrilled that you're bringing this technology in a meaningful way into the States. I think you're attacking a real issue for our guests, and which will be a nice improvement for operators. That's a win-win. If anyone wants to get in touch with Victor directly, you can email the podcast team at podcast@brandedstrategic.com, and we'll make the introduction. You want to get in touch and learn more about Big Mama Group, the restaurant group, it's bigmamagroup.com, and we already talked about sundayapp.com is for Sunday. So,
SundayApp.com for all you restaurant operators
Yes.
out there, right?
Yes.
And keep a lookout for Big Mama.
Big Mama, come into a
Open it
neighborhood.
here.
Come in here.
Yeah, we're going to start with Florida.
You know,
Florida.
I put this song on, Jimmy, because I think you, me, and Victor think we've just became
Really good friends.
I think we've just really bonded, right?
This is a good moment.
I think that, Victor, you're probably the most fashionable guest we've ever had. No one comes in with I mean, look at him.
The scarf, come on, French scarf.
Could I pull that off?
No.
Yeah, I couldn't.
But you like the scarf.
I do.
I
gotta tell you, you look very European.
like a scarf.
I love that, and I just wanted to say that I could beat Shatsy in anything before breakfast. Best line I think we've had. That's podcast gold, and that will definitely be a snippet. I could beat Shatsy in anything
before breakfast. Before breakfast.
Oh, that is good. Anyway, I got to tell you, thank you, Victor. We really appreciate you joining. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you.